Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with an awesome new unboxing for you on the Fanatic Edge Omen. This is a really unique knife that is just coming out. I picked this knife up at the Blade Show. This was one of the knives that I scored for myself, and I'm really excited to show it to you guys. This has been in the works for a little while, and this knife has sort of a special meaning to me now. At the Blade Show, I got to hang out with Andrew, Fanatic Edge, and I got to hang out with Elijah Isham, who's the guy that designed this knife. His name is pronounced Isham. I asked him myself. It is pronounced Isham. And so I'm going to have to correct myself now whenever I say it the wrong way. But what this knife is an Elijah design that they took to We Knives to produce, and now Andrew is selling it under his own moniker. And so this is the second knife that is being sold by the Fanatic Edge brand. He's got another knife called the Origin that's a little bit different design that he designed. This is an Elijah design. When I saw him announce this, just the combination of things coming together meant that I really wanted to have it. From the M390 blade to the titanium handle and the two guys that were making it, I knew I wanted to get my hands on it. And so I'm excited to bring you guys a video about it. I know I've been rambling. So I picked this knife up at the Blade Show from Andrew with Elijah standing there and talking to me about it. Elijah also got one for himself that had some green accents, so I knew that he approved of my green knife. I have a picture of our matching knives on Instagram. Because it was the first run of these knives and I picked it up at the show, this was the box, quote unquote, that it came in, and so I'm going to move that to the side. But here it is. This is the Omen. This is a really unique knife. Elijah said that he wanted to build sort of a strong, almost tank-like knife, and I think that he executed that well with this knife. It is a bit more solid and chunky and aggressive than some of his other knives. It also has a few distinct features in that it does not feature a hole in the blade, and it does not have a hidden flipper tab. These are some sort of important specs that Elijah said were unique to this particular design. But I pre-ordered this through Andrew a few months ago, and it was finally ready for delivery at the Blade Show. So let's go ahead and get some vital signs on this guy so we understand what we're working with here. Up front is a blade that is coming in at 3.5 inches back to the handle. So the peak of that handle is right there. The blade is also about 3.5 inches, but these recurves and tanto curves are going to give you a bit more blade edge length than that. It's 4 inches to the pivot and 8 inches overall, so it's a nice compact size. You get a ton of blade for a very small handle. The actual handle itself is coming in at about 4.25 inches, so very compact handle right there. The effective grip area is coming in at about 3.75 inches right there, but the Elijah ergonomics really take place here, and I'll get into that as we discuss the handle. What I wanted to bring out were a couple of other knives for a comparison. First, I wanted to compare this to two other Elijah Isham designs that he let me borrow from the show. So because I got to hang out with the guy, he actually let me bring home the We Knives Pleroma prototype and the Robert Carter Blackfire. These are two knives that are, this one is already out. There are only two of these in the world. I'm going to have a separate video on this. And this is a prototype that's coming out. I'm going to have a video on this. And so it was really special for me to get to meet this designer, talk to the guys who made these knives, and it just amazing situation. So that makes it a bit more special to me, and something to look forward for you guys for a couple more awesome videos coming up. How about we get some size comparisons going here with a Paramilitary 2 and a Para 3. So if I line all these up butt to butt, you will see that it falls somewhere more towards the Para 2 size category, but the Para 3 handle category. So you get a ton of blade in a very compact handle. That's one of the things that I like about Elijah's designs. If you look at things like the Megatherium, that Blackfire, the Eschaton, these knives have crazy big blades that fit into these skinny little handles, and that profile really catches the eye. So let's talk about this knife bit by bit and break it down anatomically. Up front is a blade of M390 steel. That's right, M390 from We Knives. So it comes in two finishes right now, either this DLC coated or a, I think it's a blasted finish. Maybe it's a blasted stonewash finish, but it's a more plain finish and it's not satin. Maybe this is just going to be present on the initial run. They will probably do some different variants, maybe even Damasteel variants if the run is successful. So we will see about that. But what it is a Harpoon Spanto recurve thing. It's a really wicked blade shape. I really like this blade shape. I think it combines a lot of the elements of sort of the new tactical knives, as well as some thoughtful ergonomics and EDC sort of capacity. I brought out another knife. I made an Instagram post because I was playing with another knife that I scored at the Blade Show, which is this Peter Rizzenti Small Satori. And there are some striking similarities between these two knives. As odd as this may be, that this is a full custom knife from Peter Rizzenti, a full integral with a mirror wash blade, and this is a We Knives produced collaborative effort right here. But you can see the blade shapes have some similarities, and the handles are sort of compact and skinny and sort of tapering like that. So it was interesting to me to see that that sort of similarity happening right there. But the blade itself is very useful. It has a nice area where the recurve catches whatever you're cutting. The hollow grind right here means that it's very thin behind the edge, so it slices really well. Combine that with an edge that was done by Fanatic, by Andrew, sorry. And it is incredibly sharp. I asked him to put the mirror edge on it so I could show it off. There are a lot of detractors of his work out there, but he does a good job most of the time. And if there is a problem, he is happy to fix it. He will fix it, and so talk to him about that. I really enjoy the way that this black blade contrasts with the all-titanium handle. So let's go ahead and move back and talk about the pivot. The pivot is ceramic ball bearings in a phosphor bronze cage. I really enjoy it. It's quite smooth. The detent is very strong, but it means that the knife launches very aggressively and it locks up very, very well. Give you a picture of the lockup here. In true Elijah fashion, the lock bar sort of inserts a little bit higher up into the handle itself, but there is a solid lockup. There is a steel lock bar insert, and so there is no stick. It's a very nice interface. There's no blade play. There's no blade wiggle. There's a solid lockup. Again, this knife is made by We Knives, and so their quality control is top-notch. It has a pivot collar that comes in titanium, and that is selectively, anodized here. That's blue. That moves me back to the rest of the handle here. Look at these titanium handles, contoured, chamfered, milled, beautiful, high-grade titanium, now anodized in Frunkey green that was actually developed by Andrew himself. I wanted to make a very visually stunning knife for the channel and for this video because I want to be able to show off how just amazing this knife is in terms of its design and execution. Just a very dramatic knife. The lines are beautiful. Check out how this line here continues kind of through the clip and down here, but it also, there's a line, oh, it's just nice. And then it swoops up here. They're just, the way that the lines meet, it's just a very beautiful knife. And it's just kind of come out of nowhere. Like Fanatic Edge, who is this guy? He's a knife modder, and now what? He's making knives, and to be honest, yes, that is what's going on. He has developed an Elijah Isham design, and now he's selling it. He's able to put a hyper edge, and he's able to do whatever kind of anodizing and a lot of different finishing work you want on your knife. And so it's an interesting new sort of phenomenon that's happening where We Knives is allowing folks to come out with designs and sort of produce them in a big way. And I'm going to have a video because I have quite a few of these knives right now on my table where We Knives is really just dominating a market. Well, I have just more of them. All of these knives are coming from We Knives, and everyone is able to bring these designs to the market. And so it's just incredible to me that this is happening. I think that this is a very good representation of Elijah's work. It's a very unique design. It has a smooth pivot, a strong action, a very, very nicely weighted and ergonomic handle. Look at where it sits. The balance is right in that notch on this knife, and it's just so nice. Look at the way it balances, just sits there. Just a very well thought out knife made by a good company that kind of came out of nowhere. And so I'm happy to show it to you guys. I would recommend picking one up if you're into the design. It's totally, it's not the most practical EDC design. I'll give you that. It's an interesting design. But if you're into interesting knives, this can be a lot of fun. Talk to Andrew about customizing it. Go ahead and look his page up at Fanatic Edge 2.0 on Instagram. Look up Elijah Isham stuff. Check me out. And as always, guys, take care.